Hello everyone, my name is Flipkart and you're watching Reading with Flipkart. This video is my first ever mid-year book freakout tag where I'll be answering questions from the revamped version of this book tag by a YouTuber I've been following for a long time now, Jesse the Reader. So I'll link his video in the description for you to check out. He has revamped in a sense that he has added some new questions and deleted some old questions from the mid-year book tag which has been going around for a long time now. So I'll be answering questions from that video in this one because I found it more relatable than every other book tag I've watched so far. And I've already talked about the books I've read this year in a previous video, so I won't go into much details today. I'll just give short and quick answers to the questions. So now let's get started. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far this year? This is a very tough question because it's always hard for a book lover to choose which is the best book they've read or which is their most favorite book, because each book is good in their own way and it's hard to choose the very best or the most favorite. But if I were to choose, I would say The Secret Garden by Francis Horton Burnett. It's a classic, it's a character driven classic, and I really love this book. I love the plot, I love the messages it conveyed, and I just enjoyed reading it a lot. So yeah, that's the best book I've read so far this year. The second question is, what's the most disappointing book you've read so far this year? And the answer, if you've watched my previous video, you would know, but I'll still say it, it ends with us. The third question is, what's the best book recommendation you've got this year? I haven't got many personal book recommendations this year as of now, not that I can think of on the top of my head, but I've seen this book and many other books by this author for a long time on BookTube and Bookstagram. It's Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmerer. I've seen this book for quite some time now, and I really like the cover. Then, so I thought I should check out the book. I downloaded the Kindle sample of this book, and I read, I guess, 4 or 5 chapters of it. And in those 4 or 5 chapters, I realized that this book is something I need in my life, and I'm looking forward to adding it to my collection very soon. So Defy the Night it is. The next question is, what is your first DNF of the year? DNF means did not finish. So DNFing a book means you did not finish a book till the end. And that would be It Ends With Us. Well, I did read the end of It Ends With Us plus the epilogue plus the author's note, because I've seen everywhere that the author's note is very special. So I read that, and it was indeed very special. It was very heartfelt. And the epilogue, I read it. The last chapter, I read it. Just DNFing means that I didn't read it completely to the end. I did skip a few parts in between because I was very uncomfortable reading those. So I think this does count as DNF, doesn't it? Even though I know the whole story and I have read the end. I don't know, that's the closest to DNF I have been this year. Last year I did have one DNF. That was the first book I ever DNF'd, but we are talking about this year, so this It Ends With Us is going to be the closest to DNF in 2023. And I hope it stays the same. I hope I don't have to DNF any other book, because I love the satisfaction of finishing a book. Next question is, a new release from this year that you've read and your thoughts on it. So a new release that I've read this year is Legacy Academy by A.P. Goodman. I follow this author on Instagram, and that's how I came to know of her books and Legacy Academy. So when she had it on sale on Kindle, put I downloaded it from there and I started reading it. I'm only 5 chapters into the book, but I'm really enjoying it. The it's my favorite genre. It's fantasy, plus it has the special schools and gifted children trope in it, which I really enjoy. So yeah, I'm enjoying reading it. It's a really good book so far. The next question is a book that came out in first half of the year that you want to read, and a book that's coming out in second half of the year that you're anticipating. So for the book that came out in first half of the year, it would be The Secret Shadow by Bethany Atazadeh. It's the second book in the Queen's Rise series, which is a spin-off series of the Stolen Kingdom series. And Stolen Kingdom series is my absolute favorite series. I read the first 2 books last year, and I'm going to read the next 2 books this year. They are in my online library. I'm really excited to read them because I love those books. I love this author's writing style, and I follow her on YouTube and Instagram. Her even writing tips are really great. So I really enjoy reading from this author, and I'd love to read this book someday. I haven't read the first book in the series, but um, yeah, I'm anticipating to read the first book and the second book very soon, hopefully. As for the book that's coming out in second half of the year, I think that would be my upcoming book, a poetry book which I hope to finish and release this year. I'm just not up to date with book releases, you know, because I follow very limited authors on social media. And for example, J.K. Rowling, I get to know which book she's releasing and all. For example, when she released Christmas Pig in 2021, I was really anticipating the book. I knew it was coming out and what it would be about, so I was really anticipating it. But after that, I haven't really been up to date with book releases, so I I don't know which books which are upcoming I would like to read. I browsed through a list of upcoming books, but they are just not really my taste. So I won't just pick out a random book from a famous author and use it for to answer this question, because I don't know, and I don't know about that author's writing, and I don't want to read that book. Yeah, it says the book you're anticipating the most, and I'm anticipating my book, so yeah, that's an honest answer. I'm not revealing the title of the book right now because I don't want to spoil it as of now. I have some things planned in my mind. I'm going to reveal the cover, the title, and everything about the book as time passes by. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. Next question is, what's the most beautiful book you've added to your collection, or the beautiful book you'd like to own? So I haven't added any book to my collection as of now, except for Great Indian Teen Fiction Anthology, which has my story published in it. Apart from that, I haven't added any books to my collection this year so far. So there isn't any beautiful book I've added to my collection, but there are a few beautiful books that I'd like to own. I'll only show 2 of them here. The first one is A Curse to Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimera, and the cover is just so gorgeous. For the entire trilogy, the covers are so beautiful, and their spines are even more beautiful. And I couldn't resist its beauty, but I don't usually judge a book by its cover. Hopefully, that's my character trait, but I didn't want to just go for it and buy it just because it's pretty. So I went ahead and downloaded the sample on Kindle, and the opening sentence just got me. It was so epic that I want this book. I want this trilogy. I can't wait to add it to my collection. Hopefully this year or maybe next year, but I will add it soon to my collection very soon. And the second book that I want to add to my collection is the deluxe edition of Little Women. This cover is so beautiful and it's in my favorite color, and I really love the Little Women movie, and I've always wanted to read this book, and I hope that whenever I read it, it's going to be in this edition. The next question is, what genre have you most read from this year? And I would say non-fiction, because I've read fiction too this year. That's my go-to genre, but fiction is divided into so many categories, and I've read various types of fiction and not just one. And it's not just fantasy, not just contemporary, or not just sci-fi. It's been everything. But non-fiction I've read most this year, I would say. By count also, I think it would be non-fiction which I read more this year. Question 9 is, do you feel that your reading tastes have changed or shifted at all this year? And the answer is somewhat, because my circle of genres and tropes which I like to read is very limited. I wouldn't say limited, but there's just this defined comfort zone that I have, and I don't really like to venture out of it, because I tried it once this year and it didn't end so well with me. So there's this defined set of genres which I like to read, but I would say that I have explored more of non-fiction this year. I don't usually read much of non-fiction. Till last year, the whatever non-fiction books I would read, it would mostly be, not mostly, it would totally be just astronomy books. Astrophysics, astronomy. It's, for example, books, for example, books like A Brief History of Time, A Theory of Everything, and Relativity, and all. So my non-fiction was limited to astrophysics books, but this year I've read more of non-fiction. For example, I read Super Memory, and I've read Takes on Life by Dominic Holland. It is non-fiction, but it is so comedic, so good, and really the takes on life are just so refreshing. So yeah, that I would say that my tastes have shifted a little bit because I've explored more of non-fiction, and it's becoming more of a favorite genre now, because till last year and even now also I'm very picky about what non-fiction I like to read. So yeah, that's all the change I've had this year. Question 10 is, if you set any bookish goals for this year, how are they going? And the answer is yes, I did set some bookish goals for me this year. I did that last year too, and I've done this year as well. And I won't go into much details about those goals, because I'm planning to do that at the end of the year while I'm reviewing those goals. But as of now, I would say that my main goal was to finish my physical TBR before entering into the mode of ebook reading or adding new books to my collection. And so far it has been going great. I've read so many books from my physical TBR, which I discussed in my previous video, and I'm really happy about how much progress I've made, and I hope the progress stays the same for the remaining year. The second goal was to finish the Stolen Kingdom series. I've read the first two books last year, and the other two books are in my to be read library. And these books don't take much time to read because they are so interesting, and they get me so hooked that I finish these books in 2 to 3 days, like I did for the previous two books, and they are of the similar page count. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish them just as fast as the previous ones. So I'm not worried about that yet, because I have the remaining year left, and Yeah, I wanted to read those only after I finished my physical TBR, at least for the fiction one. So yeah, I'll be reading those in the upcoming months, and I'll hopefully finish the series this year. Question 11. What book format have you been gravitating towards this year? And the answer is physical books, paperbacks, and hardcovers both. Because I keep repeating this because I am planning to finish my physical TBR as soon as possible before diving into ebooks and before adding more books to my collection. So yeah, I've been gravitating more towards physical books this year. Last year was quite different because I was gravitating more towards audiobooks and ebooks, but yeah, this year it has been completely opposite. The last question, question 12. Finally, a book that you've read so far this year that you feel embodies the spirit of your reading year. This was the hardest question to decide on, but after much consideration, I would say Kim Jong, born 1982. This is because this is contemporary fiction. Um, the thing is, this year I've read books which are more close to the real world than fictional world. It's not that I haven't read books that have fantasy elements to them. I'm reading one right now. It's a science fiction, and I've read the Jungle Book also, which is very loosely related to the real world, but it dives into talking animals and all that, so it does have that fantasy element to it. But most of the books that I've read this year are closer to the real world. For example, It Ends With Us, Kim Jong, born 1982, or The Secret Garden, or Takes on Life. Even though it's not a fiction, it's non-fiction, but it's related to the real life. So my reads this year have been more character driven. Oh, I forgot to mention cozy read series, short reads also. It is also very closely related to the real world. It's more of a mystery novel. So yeah, even though these are fiction, they are still closely related to the real world, and that's why I would say that Kim Jong, born 1982, is a book that kind of summarizes my reading spirit so far. Also because I was able to finish this very quickly within 10 days, which was a big achievement for me. And I've really picked on my reading pace this year because I've started utilizing more of the free time I have in reading. For example, I utilize my daily traveling time of approximately 20 to 30 minutes for reading, and it has been really significant in my reading life. It has made a lot of changes that I wouldn't have been able to read these many books if it were for my busy lifestyle otherwise. But because I'm able to spare some time for reading while not disturbing other tasks, so this has been an amazing change in me, and which is why I've picked on so much reading pace. And because of this, I would say that this book is just a summary of how my reading year has been so far. So, so this is it for today's video. These were the questions in the book tag. I've answered all of them, and I had really fun answering those. It was really fun talking to books again with you guys in a really innovative and fun way. So this was also my first ever book tag, so please let me know how you feel about this video, whether you liked it or not, in the comments below. Then maybe I'll try more of these book tags in the future. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure to check out the additional video which I'll be linking in the description, and make sure to answer these questions in the comments as well. I'll I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this video and to read your responses. I really enjoy reading them. In my past video also, I really enjoyed how much uh, you guys liked it, the responses I've received, and so I hope you guys like this one as well. Thank you again so much for watching, and just stay happy. Okay, whatever you do, just stay happy. Thank you so much. Bye bye.